Alright, what's up YouTube? My name is The Air, and today I'm going to be talking about, probably, in my opinion, the most important, issue with PvP right now. And, that issue is the issue of power ammo. So, even in the name, we call it power ammo. If you ask, any Destiny player, what dominates the Crucible right now? They're gonna tell you, oh, Mida, Uriel's Gift. Certain niche weapons like the Last Hope at close range, or certain submachine guns, the Anti-Ope D, for example. No one's going to tell you, oh, rockets dominate the Crucible, or fusions dominate the Crucible, or snipers dominate the Crucible. No one's going to tell you any power ammo dominates the Crucible. And yes, for one reason, power ammo is not available all the time. But most people don't even consider it. It's not even really thought about. It's a side option. You allow one player to pick up 1 to 2 sets of power ammo, usually in games that have, in competitive rounds, once per round, and in normal games, I believe between 3 and 5 times per round, or per game. So, it's such an issue because the system either puts the weapon in such a state where it is a must-have for your power weapon slot, or it's not. You see, and really, what I think is what's at the root of this issue, this problem, is that they took too much of Destiny 1 into a completely new system of power ammo into Destiny 2. And the goal of this entire video, this entire section on, rebalancing and completely revamping power weapons, is that a power weapon should in some way guarantee you a kill. Now, this is not overpowered in any way. A power weapon should, in some way, as long as you have thumbs and an index finger, guarantee you a kill. Alright? So, there are already weapons in the game, power weapons, that do essentially guarantee you a kill. These two categories are the fusion rifles and the rocket launchers, specifically cluster bomb rocket launchers. But why? Well, these weapons are relatively versatile, easy to use, hard to miss. Now, let's talk about the categories that are really almost non-existent. Sniper rifles, linear fusion rifles, and grenade launchers. Speaking of linear fusion rifles, when was the last time you were not even when you were last killed by a linear fusion rifle, but when you even last seen someone using a linear fusion rifle in the Crucible? It's unheard of. It doesn't happen. No one does it. In fact, I believe they're actually used less than grenade launchers. It's ridiculous. And snipers, the only reason people use snipers is because it's cool to use a sniper. It's fun. That's the only reason anyone uses it. It's not, unless you're some sort of god, using a sniper rifle in the Crucible is not a viable competitive option. Alright, so now let's get into what I think should be done. With the sniper archetype, I think the sniper really needs the most rework. I think that there should really only be... I think the archetype of sniper should completely change. I don't think we should have a sniper with 7 in the mag. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I think that's 100% a Destiny 1 fallacy. I don't think we can ever have a good sniper in the game while archetypes such as that exist. And the reason is, I think that the pinnacle of a sniper archetype in the game of Destiny 2 is a sniper that one hits to the body. Now, that seems a bit extreme in some cases. Well, it's a sniper. It's always been about precision hits and critical and this and that. But I want to step back. This is a power weapon. This is a weapon that is supposed to give you an advantage, a clear advantage over another player at range. Now, with the current state of the game and what the state of the game should be going forward, there is never a scenario where you have a clear advantage over between 2 and 4 people shooting a Mida down a hallway at you with your sniper. There's never a scenario where you have a clear advantage. Alright, and I think that's ridiculous. I believe the snipers should be changed to where they only have 1 or a maximum of 2 shots in their magazine, and they should be a one-hit kill to the body or upper body. Now, like I said, that's a complete change to how snipers work, but it's necessary because snipers don't work how they did before anyway. So now, with that in mind, and I'll move on to the shotgun. The shotguns are okay, but to be completely honest, I think they could use a small range buff. I'm not really going to talk too much about shotguns, but essentially keep this in mind. So, let's think of I'm just bringing it back to the Felwinter's Lie. The Felwinter's Lie was a huge joke. It had ridiculous range, ridiculous power, and it was way beyond what a shotgun should be able to do with a reasonable balance. But this is Destiny 2, and shotguns are now power weapons. Weapons that are supposed to give you a clear advantage at close range. And why is it that a shotgun can easily be outdistanced by an SMG? Like, it's actually ridiculous. I think the shotgun's just not a huge range buff, and probably not even to the point of the Felwinter's Lie, but I just think that shotguns deserve a little range buff. I think that they're not really in the area that they should be. Now, let's next go into linear fusions, then grenade launchers. I think the linear fusions really need their own rework. I think that the linear fusion rifles should act more like a normal fusion rifle, in that it doesn't charge up and fire a single bolt, but as it charges up, or that more so that it charges up and fires a stream, just as the normal fusion rifle does. And in order to one-hit someone, you need to hit them with the majority of that stream. So let's move on to grenade launchers. I think that grenade launchers should have at least one archetype of grenade launchers should have an intrinsic perk of proximity detonation. So essentially how it would work is the grenade launcher intrinsic perks would be impact detonation, bounce / proximity, or true proximity detonations. The bounce / proximity detonation would work more of if you want to bounce it off of something, it will bounce. But other than that, when it reaches a player, it will detonate in close proximity. True proximity would work differently in that it would not really bounce. It only detonates in proximity. And in proximity to also walls. So it would just detonate. So going to talk about rockets. So I think rockets actually need a nerf. rockets are essentially a 100% guaranteed kill. And just like snipers, or just like I said snipers should be, just like fusion rifles are, I think rockets have far too high of a potential to get 2 to 3 guaranteed kills with no risk whatsoever. At least with a fusion rifle, you have to at least peek out and face your enemy for a second in order to secure a kill. With a rocket, you can simply poke, jump, and fire. That's it. You fire your weapon and you forget. And the nerf that I believe rockets need is just an ammo reduction. I think that a rocket should only get 1 rocket. I don't think that there's any scenario where a rocket should get 2 rockets to fire at someone. I think that's just a bit too much. I think that rockets would perform better in the Crucible and leave other options more viable if rockets did not have 2. If picking up power ammo did not grant you 2 rockets. Alright, so this video has probably been relatively long, probably longer than I wanted it to be. It's in terms of length, but covered a lot of information on what I would like to see as a not a complete overhaul, but an overhaul of the power weapon system in Destiny 2, and something that I think would greatly benefit the Crucible as a whole if our power weapons worked more like power weapons. If there was actually a system of play where you took control of the power weapons so that 1 or 2 players on your team could perform a specific role. And with that in mind, that's it for today's video. And as always,
spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons speak with such a screech. You'll shake and shudder in surprise when you hear these zombies shriek.